Hey guys, welcome back to episode 17. Can't believe it's already 17 episodes, but we're talking about scrogging with garden stakes. Now, if you don't know what I mean when I'm talking about garden stakes, we're basically talking about stuff like this. Okay, now these are metal ones that are coated. Um, I like using these over using like a bamboo because these don't have any openings where bad things can get into and survive, like say spider mites or other pests that would be able to get into your bamboo stake because it's a hollow stake and live in there and be coming back over and over and over again. So that's one of the reasons I use these garden stakes. Now we're going to get right into it, guys. I've already done 4 of the plants. I'll just give you a little spin here. Those are scrogged out. You can just see some of the stakes sticking out. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on this lady right here. Now, this is the SFDOG Kush number 1. Now, I've stuck a bunch of stakes in here already, but I haven't tied anything down yet. So I'm going to just run through how we're tying things down and go from there, guys. Now, I have a couple of different types of wraps that I use. And you can get this stuff in rolls. And what I've done is I've just cut it. So you can see one here. I've cut it down, but they're just a foam with a piece of metal inside so that you can wrap them and tie them up, right? And they'll keep their shape and hold on to the plant without damaging it. Now, the other type I have is a lot less foam, but it has the metal inside so you can wrap and tie things, right? So let's move this lady a little bit closer like this. Now, we're just going to start here. Now, what you don't want to do is you don't want to overstrain the stem that's coming out. So what I do is I just pull down, get a nice little bit of tension on it, try not to get over tensioned. I'll just back it up here a little bit, get rid of my name. Let's go like this. Yeah, edit name. Okay, not getting rid of the name, but okay. Anyway, so we've got it pulled down. It's still springy. We're gonna make sure that we're in between nodes. Okay, so let's tip that down a little bit and see if we can get a little bit closer. Okay, so she's up there. We pull her down. We find a in between the nodes. So here's a node here and a node here. We're going to go in between the nodes. And I know you guys can't really see, but I'll get you in closer here for a better look. Okay, so if we can see it tied right here, we've got our nodes here and down here, and it's tied there. Now, I'm not stretching it a long ways out, and I'm leaving the wrap a little bit loose so that it doesn't put a huge amount of strain on the plant. Okay, so as you can see, I've got another stalk here. We're going to grab this big one here, and when you start pulling on a larger one, and you can see this is how tall it is, okay? You're going to feel the tension, right? So we want to make sure that we're not snapping the stems further down. So we're going to be picking a spot where we've got some spring left in her. She's not too tight where she's going to be snapping. And then we're just going to tie her there. Now, what I will be doing over the next few days as things start to turn up, and maybe we can get a good shot from this angle here. Okay. Can we see? This is the one that I just pulled down. We'll put it down a little bit more. Okay. The one that's on the bottom down here, okay, I'm going to end up cutting this one off. This is going to turn up really nicely, and the ones up on top are going to turn up. But the ones that are going to be down on the bottom, especially as I will be adding more stakes to bring them out further, just not on this demonstration, that would be, this node here would be underneath, right? So it's either going to have to come to the side to go up, etc. But what I like to do is I will literally take that node right off. That is allowing the plant to focus on the nodes that are going to be getting the most light. And that's the idea, because everything that goes and turns up, which on the next one, you'll be able to see them turning up, are going to become top colas. So we want more top colas on the plant than anything else, right? So I'm just going to quickly go through here, guys, and just grab another one. My stool is going a little wonky. So here's another one. We'll bring her down. Now, I've got the stakes fairly perpendicular at this time. And that's one of the reasons I'll be adding more stakes. I'm just trying to start the process. And as she goes into flower, she's going to stretch. So, which means this stem here is going to elongate, you know, probably with this strain, I'm estimating probably a foot, maybe 2 feet. So what I'll do is I'll be putting in another stake, right? But I'll put it at an angle, okay? So instead of it going basically up and down, I'll be putting it out like this. We'll just do this one since we're here. So I just rotate, as you can kind of see my fingers rotating. So I'm going into the soil structure and I'm hitting some major roots. And yes, I am damaging the roots. And there's not a lot, oh, there she goes, that I can do about that. But she will recover and quickly recover. So now that I've got the stick at more of a much more of an angle, I can take this one that I've only brought so far, and because the end is more pliable, I can bring it down even more and tie her down here now. So we've got 2 stakes on that particular stem or stalk, whatever you want to call it. And you can see here we've got one that's coming off of it that's coming straight up, but we've got some that are underneath. So these aren't going to be getting light, but this one here, which is going to get lots of light, and it's going to stand up tall, and it's going to probably come up, and of course you can't see my hand, probably to this height or higher. And what we're doing is we're supporting as much as we're pulling it out, okay? And that's the whole idea, is to spread your plant out so that the light can get into the center of your plant. So the more that we pull these guys out, the more the center is going to open up, which is up in here, right? So that the light can penetrate easier. And then those stems in here, like this one in here, if I can get the angle right, I guess that'd be about the best way. We'll be standing up, and this will become a top cola. So we're going to get much greater volume of top colas. And by taking the ones off that are underneath, then we're eliminating the plant having to, feed that and make that part of it grow. We're going to eliminate that need, and then she'll be able to put more into the other colas that she's going to be producing. So we'll just, I'm just going to quickly bend out some more here so we can get to a little bit more of an overview of what exactly it's going to look like once I have it opened up. And I put the stakes in before the show to make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to need to put another stake in on that one, but we'll bring this one down here. And I'm hoping that the angle of the camera isn't too bad for you guys to see as we just give her another twist, grab another tie, and we'll pull this one out here. And I know you guys can see that because I'm halfway looking at the camera. And you want to make sure that you are not putting anything on a node. You want to go in the internodal spacing to tie it out. And as I said, I'm going to be putting a lot more stakes in to draw her out a lot more. Let's see. We've got this big one right up, going up in here. We're going to want to pull that one down, but I'm going to need another stake. Now this is our center here. So we're just going to twist the stake in, get it started. Give her a good shove in. And we're going to bring this one out into the open space that is left by pulling the other ones down. And it looks like I've got just the one more standing up, and I do have a stake already for that one. And we got this one here. Now you can tie more than one to any particular stake. I like to go side by side. One on one side, one on the other side. So we'll pull that one down. And we've really just got the one more. Now, she's going to be best to come over onto this side over here. And we'll just throw another stake in. And believe me, guys, these stakes, a few bucks a piece. They last basically forever. And I always go at the end of the gardening season when they're on sale. So in most garden sections around the world, you're going to have these available, and they're not going to be that expensive at the end of the season. And hey, Victor, Pembama, Silly Lily, glad to see you guys here. Ken, will you take a lot of the fan leaves off or leave them on? A lot of them I will leave on till the 21-day trim. I will be opening things up slowly but surely and giving us a little bit of more air movement. And as I said, the ones that are going to be down, that are never going to really do anything because they're going to be covered, like this one right here. Just get it a little bit lower. It's coming from down in here. Now, do you think that's going to get much light? Okay, now this is actually a perfect time to take some really nice clones. I could cut this one off and take this as a clone and open that section up. Now, I'm not going to be taking most of the fan leaves off right now. I'm going to leave a lot of them on. Remember, that's the solar collector for the plant, right? So depending, like, especially if you're using LEDs, the light is going to penetrate through the leaves, okay? You're going to find that all you're going to really want to do is take the ones off that aren't going to be able to really turn up, and that's going to open things up quite a bit. We have on the bottom, just got to sync the camera down here, so just hold on. It's probably going to drop. There we go. You can see that I've already opened up the bottom. So I've got airflow through the bottom here. And so a lot of the fan leaves, I'm going to be leaving. What I will be doing is I'll be taking off enough where it's not really overshadowing as much. Like this one is kind of stuck in there. A little piece came off already. What we don't want, especially if you're having problems with your environment, your environmental control, is we don't want one leaf sitting on top of the other leaf like this one is doing, okay? Where those two leaves come together, you can have, or you will create a microclimate in that spot, and that's when you can have some major problems. I just find they are great for bugs, and that's just it, Pembama. A lot of that is when the two leaves are sitting right on top of each other, and you're creating that microclimate. Now, I've never had a major bug problem in my grow until the very last grow that I did here a couple of years ago. I ended up with spider mites, but the plant that didn't get them was the one that I had been growing for years, the sour diesel. She was so healthy, the spider mites left her alone because the leaves were too thick. The cell structure was too dense for the spider mite to actually bite through to feed. So there was 3 plants. I had a Blue Dream, Einstein's Pipe, a few other ones, but my sour diesel never had a spider mite on it. Okay, and so it was so healthy that they couldn't feed, and of course they just didn't bother with that particular plant. That's one of the reasons that I'm teaching about the biology and getting your biology so strong that it makes your plant so strong that the normal predators for your plant can't feed on it. So if a predator can't feed, it's going to go to a different plant where it can feed. Okay, so a lot of the things like aphids, spider mites, they'll basically go into hibernation. Okay, just like a ciliate goes into a cyst form, goes to sleep, takes enough food where it just goes to sleep, and it can exist there for an extremely long time in that mode. Your bugs are basically going to do the same. They're going to find a spot where there's a little bit of food, and they're going to go to sleep into almost a stasis until the environment is right, excuse me, for them to come out and actually start feeding again. Okay, that's where, using the bamboo, the spider mites will go and hide in there, and on your next crop, if it's not healthy, well, they're going to get the signal and they're going to come pouring out, and you're going to have another spider mite infection. So there's not really a lot more to do. I'll show you the top here, and you can see we've opened this plant right up. I'll just get a little bit further away. So now the light is going to be able to penetrate down here, and all the stuff that's in here is going to be able to come up, and all of our stems, etc., are going to be able to grow up, and this is going to end up being full of colas, top colas. You're not wasting the space that you have for the plant by opening it up like this. It's just going to all come up. Now, The stems, of course, that are bent over are going to turn, and they're going to go back up to pointing at the sky so that they can collect the light. So really, guys, that's all there is. Like I've used scrogging, where I've made simple squares, and I've ran the plants out that way. These ones I really didn't top. I topped a lot later than I should have. Um, I'm not familiar with these strains at all. I never topped the Medikush, so it's going to be a different beast altogether as well. But I have actually put some stakes in and brought the leaves out so that they can come out and grow up a little bit to get more of the top coals that we want. But in normal scrogging, you know, you've got your scrog net, and as it grows up in, you're pulling your new growth down, and you're weaving it in, trying to create that large area, large mass of greenery that's all going to grow up, and you're going to produce more colas on the top. So other than that, do you guys have any questions? We've got 5 people watching right now, but of course it is you know, still the holiday season. I don't know if you guys how many people have went back to work yet, but there's really not a lot to it. I don't run tents, etc. And for me to scrog in a large open area, like I was saying on the last show, I wouldn't be able to work the plants the way I like to work the plants. Like right now, I can spin all my plants around. I can move my plants out of the road, shuffle them around. I've got them on the roller dollies. That makes a huge advantage for me to be able to move things around. I can't stand and bend that easily, so I do a lot of my work sitting on roller stools, just little cheap ones like that. And that's actually what our plant that we're working on is sitting on, is one of those stools as well. So I've got you know, spin, and I can move it around easily, right? So, but I think what we'll do is on Friday, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, let's say, I'll bring you guys back for another quick update. We'll update on the clones again, which are doing fantastic. They've all caught, you know, they're growing, and then we'll show how things are actually have turned up. And you guys, the people that have never grown their own medication, cannabis medicine before, that have not done this kind of stuff, this is a really quick and simple way where you can still move the plant around. Once you put in like a scrog netting, there is no moving the plant. You're done, right? You can't move your plant around. It's stuck there. But it is a fantastic way to, you know, create this sea of green with all these top colas, and that's the only real purpose. Well, it's not the only purpose in scrogging. It also lets you look at your plant better for inspections, etc., and airflow, etc. But it's about those top colas. That's where the medicine is really going to form, is in those upper colas, where stuff on the very bottom that's getting very little light, you know, we call it popcorn bud, because it's really small and you don't have, you know, the big large colas that you can use for your medication. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. Just a quick little short demonstration on using stakes for scrogging. We'll give you an update. As I said, I'll be putting in more stakes, etc., as time goes on. The most I ever had in one pot was 32, I think. 31 or 32 stakes. Now that was in my large pots where I was using half of a 45-gallon barrel. So there was a lot of volume there. But I also had, 1 ounce dry bud. Out of that, I generally was going a lot longer on the vegetative state, and spreading the plant out. I was trying to get, basically a 4x4 area covered by the plant. And then I wasn't having to grow a lot of plants. I was just having to grow, 3 or 4 plants for my space. And I was getting lots of medication for myself and the people that I was donating it to. So it's all about that medication in my world and helping others. That's why I'm here doing this with you guys, showing these little techniques that I've been using for years now, that have helped me to create a healthier plant, a more medicinal plant, and a much more, how would I say it, heavy plant, more medicine for the size of the plant. Now, remember also that these aren't the 45-gallon drums. These are only 5-gallon cloth pots that I'm using. So I can't let these go too long, to create a much larger canopy than what they're going to do. That's one of the reasons I'm flipping them right now into flower. I took off another hour today. I think we've got 4 or 5 days before they're going to be at the 12-hour cycle. I'm probably going to be doing most of my trimming of the fan leaves, etc., on day 21 of flower, of actual flower at the 12-12 cycle, just to clean them up. Now I'll clean up a few so that the leaves aren't creating those microclimates for the bad things to grow, whether that's powdery mildew, or bugs, aphids, etc. So, and you guys know I have a lot of other plants in here that aren't cannabis at all. So I don't know what plants or what other bugs could be brought in with those plants. I use soil that I had outside. So I have seen different creatures running around in here. Nothing that's bad so far. As I said, I had one ladybug running around here for probably a good month. So hopefully that's is helpful for you guys. And with that, guys, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you probably Friday or Saturday with an update. We've got Wednesday tomorrow with Andy Lopez. So I'll see you guys there tomorrow night. That's 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 Mountain, and 9 down on the east end of the country. So have a great night, guys, and we will talk to you again soon.